All together just in time. Their marquee second-round matchup in Milwaukee. Oh, I hear you, music. And then they're going to find Giannis, the Greek freak, the most dominant player in the game, and his Bucks squad, that's the best basketball. They played it all season long. Countdown starts right now.
Who? Terry Rozier. I don't even know who that is.
Listen to this crowd here. Who is Bledsoe?
I'm with the boys, making a noise. Just in the twice, second and twice, and then the start.
Antetokounmpo! Oh, he caught a body!
With the music, I'm a ball, big, you don't want to shot choking.
Green just punched hard right on the jaw.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by Straight Talk Wireless.
Happy Sunday and welcome to Studio H here in LA with the always dapper Chauncey Billups. The extremely elegant Jalen Rose.
Thank you.
That's right.
And Paul Pierce, who also got dressed today. My name is Michelle Beadle. We're going to get you out to Celtics Bucks. That's game one, top of the hour. But first, we do have news coming out of our second game of this doubleheader, the much-anticipated Rockets-Warriors matchup. And getting out there early today, Doris Burke in Oakland. DB, the latest on the injury status for those two guys is what?
Beads, you're coming out of the gate strong, so I'm going right to it. Steve Kerr was very honest yesterday in expressing concern about the injuries to his Splash brothers in Game 6. And what's interesting is when you watched it live, you thought Steph Curry's right ankle sprain was a little bit more serious based on the way he turned it and then his immediate reaction and how long it took him to shake it off. Clay's was done later in the game. This was in the third period on a drive, a little bit less of a turn. He finished the free throw. He checked out, didn't start the fourth quarter. Here's what we know. Those Stephs looked worse. Clay's reacted worse. There was far more swelling. They had less than 36 hours. They will have gone through 3 treatments. We will have a definitive word around 2 Eastern, 11 local. But keep in mind something. Klay Thompson played through 2 significant injuries in the NBA Finals last year. He's played 108 straight games. Whether or not the team would try to say, hey, we think you should sit game 1 because it would give us 3 days to treat it. Knowing Klay, he's far too stubborn for that. But again, we'll get definitive word. And one other thing for you guys to keep an eye on. This isn't out there much, but James Harden on Friday at practice wore a wrap on his left wrist. Then there was an Instagram photo with a fan in Houston before they came here. So not sure exactly what's going on. He's dismissing it. The team is dismissing it. But if you look at his shooting percentages over the final 3 games in that Utah series, it was not good. So lots of physical ailments we'll be keeping an eye on, Michelle.
Doris, enjoy the game. We'll know more about an hour and a half. We know we'll get it from you first. Jalen, how hard is it to play through an ankle injury?
It's really tough, especially at this point of the season, and those pesky Clippers probably help the Houston Rockets as they go into this series because you don't take care of business as the Warriors. You end up playing another game. Steph Curry, your former MVP, injures his ankle. His Splash brother, Klay Thompson, injures his ankle. The Houston Rockets stay in the Bay Area Friday night. So much shade to the Clippers because they knew that they were going to get the job done. Now, these Warriors are as vulnerable as they've been in the last couple of seasons.
It's the very thing you worry about as a fan, Chauncey. How hurt can you actually be and still contribute? What's the limit here?
Well, that's the thin line. You know, you want to lay it on the line for your teammates. You want to get out there and show the guys, I'm going to be here to give you all I have. But will you actually be hurtful? You know, will teams actually go after you because they know you're going on and you're a little bit vulnerable at the time, excuse me. But that's the thin line. So as a coach and as other players, you got to hold everybody accountable and say, I appreciate it, Jalen, but we need to go with the backup. He's going to give us a better effort.
If you're the Rockets, speaking of they're vulnerable, there might be some weakness there. If you're the Rockets, you do what exactly, strategy-wise?
You attack Klay and Steph. You put them in as many isolations, and you see you can get out of it. I mean, James has been very successful against Curry in isolations. You got to test their lateral movement. You got to get them involved in pick and rolls, down screens. Let's see if they can play defense today. So, advantage to the Houston Rockets. And to win in this league, and Chauncey can attest, and Jalen, you have to be good and lucky. The Warriors have been one of the luckiest teams over the last 4 or 5 years in saying that they've been healthy. They played against teams who dealt with injuries, and therefore they've won championships. Now it seems like luck is on the other side of Houston's to where they going into this series with an injured backcourt, and they need to take advantage of it.
I also still think there's so many mind games at play here. That is our second game, of course. Our first matchup is top of the hour. It is game one between the Celtics and Bucks. Last year's underdog, Milwaukee. They took Boston those 7 games in the first round. This time, they have a better record. They have home court advantage, and they have the best player in the Eastern Conference, perhaps the league, all season long. His name is Giannis. He was really good. And it seems like at this point, at the start of the season, there's still room for him to grow. Going to be the MVP for some. What can you break down for us on the Greek Freak?
Well, there's so much. This guy continues to improve. And we'll go to the table. I'll show you when you know you've figured it out as an NBA player. You start to have a counter for every coverage that you will see. Everybody tries to back up off of Giannis. You look at Blake Griffin right here. He's going to start to retreat as soon as Giannis gets the ball. But he closes that gap. He closes the space. And look at his handle and his footwork. And watch how long that two-step is. That's almost 15 feet. There's no real way to guard that. So he's starting to figure out, okay, teams are going to play off of me. When they back up, if I don't want to take the jumper, I will keep attacking. Now, Blake's going to go up under the screen. There's really not a screen there, but he forces a switch. Giannis does a good thing. He backs it out so I can get a head of steam here. And again, handle and footwork. Gets 2 shoulders by Andre Drummond right there. He's just special. And then, you look, Blake is going to back up off of him again. He continues to work on his game. Now, Blake is not even looking at Giannis on this play. He's looking, where are the shooters? Where's the pick and roll coming? The last thing he's thinking about is Giannis shooting a pull-up jump shot. This is something that Giannis works on every single day to improve, and we all know he's a big-time playmaker. He's a facilitator. He has the ball in his hands a lot. As 5 guys are looking at him in this play, he's doing just the opposite. Who's open? Who can I get the ball to? Who can I get a good shot? And watch this laser pass, catch and shoot. Sterling Brown ready to knock it down right there. He just continues to improve, and I'm loving his progress. And every single year you talk about production and going to the lab, working on your game. He continues to get better at drives, scoring in the paint, and his jump shot. His jump shot, something that we always say, if he can get that, he'll be the best in the league. Well, he's starting to get that.
Doesn't seem to be slowing down at any time soon. By the way, shout out to Paul not wearing any green. That's at least visible to us right now.
He didn't even know the Celtics were playing today.
Yeah.
Don't out him like that. All right, who has to have the bigger game here? Giannis or Kyrie?
I think it has to come from Giannis because I think he is the engine that drives this team. When he's constantly driving the ball, getting into the paint, finding other guys for threes, taking a rebound, getting in transition, it causes havoc for the other team. Now, with the Boston Celtics, Kyrie doesn't have to have a big game for him to win. They have a number of contributors. I think the key is going to be Tatum, Brown, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, Rozier. They have a number of guys who can step up. So all the pressure isn't on Kyrie, but Giannis, he has to be big every single night, I think, for them to win.
I think the answer is Giannis as well, and we're going to see we've seen a lot of junk defenses on great players this year. You saw the Utah Jazz were basically playing behind James Harden.
Oh, that was crazy.
I know. The Golden State Warriors won't do that. And the same with Giannis, Chauncey. Great breakdown tape. But here's a mistake people make. Ben Simmons is a backcourt player. So you can play off of him because you have the front court support when he drives to the basket. Giannis is a front court player. When you play off of him, who's going to come and contest or block your shot? Nobody. You got to still get up into him and play him and don't allow him to have ankles to do Euro steps toward the basket uncontested and or shoot wide open jump shots. That's such a mistake when teams play him like that.
The list of what Giannis has to and can do is impressive. Basically everything. Detail with Kobe Bryant. ESPN Plus this week, he's breaking down Kyrie Irving's amazing play against Indy. You can start your free trial of ESPN Plus today, tonight. Go to the app or visit ESPNplus.com. In Game 2 on ABC, Capital R rematch. Last year's Western Conference Finals, Rockets and Warriors. A series so draining that Chris Paul has trouble recalling the details.
I think through the entire thing, I was kind of like drunk emotionally. You know what I mean? Seriously, like I really don't remember too much of the games.
NBA